Good morning, traders. Welcome back to another live stream. If you are new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Before we hop on these charts, I'm going to raise my camera up. There we go. Before we hop on the charts, make sure you view what's on the screen. Trading is risky. Most traders do lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I do not provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is suggestion or recommendation. If you do anything at all, make sure you always do your own research, make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even if funded prop from accounts. And the partnership and affiliate disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content. Like code RDF, can't be unbiased if I stand to make money, which I do. Happy to be transparent about that. Do your own dang research, make your own dang decisions. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I'm here a little bit early this morning. I want to get my chart marked up. Market's moving. I want to get this thing marked up. Usually we're about a 9:15, 9:20, 9:25 start time. We're here nice and early this morning, man. Got the stream started around 9 o'clock. So, let's go ahead and get charts marked up here. We are logged in, ready to roll. Definitely not going to be trading with that tight of a stop and target. Logged in, ready to roll. Just double checking everything here. Let's get some charts marked up. Let's get it going, man. Overnight high, overnight low, prior day high, prior day low, prior week high, prior week low. That's what I'm going to run on this chart here this morning. Interested to see what the heck we get today. Took a nice little W yesterday, trading live with you guys on NQ. I want to get YM marked up so I could watch that off of the open. It's going to be our prior day high and new all-time high all the way up here on this new contract. This is going to be prior week high. We got a big-ass gap here. This is going to be prior day low. And we have our prior week low all the way down there. Let's see. We'll come back to say our good mornings in just a minute, chat. We'll let some people wake up here. Yeah, man. Big bullish push on that positive news coming out of the Middle East over the weekend. And then kind of just the drift higher here in YM. Glad I didn't try to short this. I'll show you the long on MNQ. Would have been a beautiful hold till the close, really. Today we have no news. I don't think we have any news before I go over and mark up NQ. Yeah, we're pretty light. We're pretty light on news today. Show you guys News Squawk real quick. My preferred news source. This is a paid news source. Link is down below if you want to check it out. This is the fastest source of financial news by a long shot, in my humble biased opinion. Not much by way of scheduled news events, you know, that are really market moving for today. Nothing really. Let's see for the rest of the week. Yeah, FOMC. Wednesday's the big day. Whoa, I don't think we have much on Thursday. No, jobless claims and then Friday holiday. Yeah. So, looks like tomorrow afternoon is going to be the big one. This bad boy right here. Right? That's going to be the big one. U.S. Fed policy announcement for June. And then the corresponding conference. Yeah. Hasn't been doing as much as Trump has been doing, but, you know, moving the markets. But that's going to be the what to watch for this week. But not much today, man. So no news Monday. No news Tuesday, really, as far as like high impact news goes. Stuff that this is like super duper light duty. This is what we're going to have to watch right over here. True Social comments, right, on Iran. That's what's moving the market around these days. So we'll keep an eye on that over to the side. YM, man, I'll come back. Let me get NQ marked up. We'll get some reference here. I can see a mean reversion trade set up today for sure. I think we got some clean areas of interest to trade off of today. I think we got some really simple stuff to look for. If we start to get a little bit of a dip out here, I think we could pop right back in here. I think if we get a little bit of a dip down here, right down below this overnight low level, down below this level from yesterday, could see that little pop back up. I think that could present a mean reversion setup on YM this morning. So I like that. Again, yesterday, right, we had a little bit of a pop, but this was the reason I didn't want to fade this, right? I was happy with that read yesterday. Now, we were trading MNQ. I think I traded like, what did I trade? Like 9 MNQ yesterday? It should have just been on a mini. We were trading MNQ yesterday. This was the trade. Really, really nice, clean movement. Was this marked up correctly? Or did I do something here? Sorry, I'm just getting my bearings here. Yeah, this was our overnight high level. This is the markup from yesterday. This is our overnight high level from yesterday. Popped to the upside really aggressively. We had retested. I think this was value area high, around value area high, where we popped down into this 930 consolidation. Took a long in here, caught the move back up here. Probably would have been stopped out had I held on to it. But if we did want to run a nice long, higher time frame hold on NQ, would have paid pretty nicely, right? Could have bought into this strength for this move up to the close here, where we, finished off the day much higher. Taking a look, we are, before I get the chart markup going, all the way back through all-time highs. Bears time is over. Bulls time back on parade. All the way back through all-time highs. Big push to the upside. Nice big bullish candle yesterday. Gap up at the open. And we have a little bit of a doji forming. Excuse me, not a doji. A little bit of an indecision candle forming here. Pretty tight range for the overnight session, right? Not much just yet. We swept prior day high, came back in. Right now we are below yesterday's high and closure, kind of just sitting here in the middle. As you can see, not much done through Asia London outside of sweeping this high and coming back in. This was prior all-time high. I'm gonna probably get rid of that in place of just overnight high and prior day high here. Let's go ahead and get this chart marked up. Actually, we can do it off the daily. Couple of key objective levels that I like to watch, as well as volume profiles, which I think could be helpful. I didn't want to do volume profiles this week. We were overlapping a lot. It's going to be our prior day high, overnight high, prior day high, overnight low, prior day low. Right, very simple objective levels. I do like to manually mark these. You could use. Somebody pointed out to me yesterday, reminded me about Spaceman BTC, very, very popular levels indicator. You can utilize, indicators that will show you prior day high, prior day low. I'm just going to do this. Overnight high, overnight low, Asia, London, right? All that fun stuff. I don't mind manually marking it. So, NQ setup. I trade NQ a whole lot scalpier, more zoomed in, 1 minute chart, but just looking at the 15-minute, very similar structure. Gap up, right? I do like this top-down analysis. Higher time frame to lower time frame really helps me get a frame of reference. We've got gap up from session changeover on Sunday into Sunday, excuse me. Push to the upside really all day yesterday, right? Asia, London, New York session. Overnight session, pretty choppy. We did pop to the upside here through London pre-market, and we've come all the way back down to VWAP. So, where do we go from here? No news Tuesday, pre-FOMC tomorrow. I don't have a lot of expectations for this today, guys. I don't have really high expectations for any of these markets today as far as huge movements. Can we get another, grindy session like yesterday? Sure. Can we get a huge correction and sell off, where we just turn to the downside? Sure. Maybe we go dive for this gap, right? Traders love to go for the gap fill as we start to turn to the downside. I think we could, see a lot of selling pressure back down towards filling that gap. But again, just taking a little bit of the macro context, right? Scheduled news events, FOMC coming, right? statement and then press conference, the rate at 2 p.m. tomorrow, I think we could see just kind of choppy consolidating movement ahead of that, and then maybe some more movement into the end of the week before holiday on Friday, right? Because we have Juneteenth on Friday, and that is an early close holiday, right? So not expecting a lot. So just to take a look at this, gonna wait for the market to open up like I always do on NQ. I think the closest thing that I'd like to watch is this overnight low level. Really nice area down here. I'd be looking for what I usually look for. Similar to YM, but a little bit of a different entry, right? As we break lower, I'm not looking to buy into selling pressure the way that I do on YM. I'm going to wait for that turn back up, right? And I'm going to look to buy into some of this strength, right? That's going to be the potential game plan for a sweep of overnight high, overnight low. Sometimes prior day high, prior day low. Same thing really with volume profile levels, right? Session volume profile levels. I'm going to be a little bit more flexible on not only looking long or being really cautious on shorts like I was yesterday. I think we got opportunity to chop today, so we'll take some back and forth movement if it occurs. I'm not going to have as much of a problem getting short. We came up here, we swept high, chopped around back at VWAP. If we start to sell off, we can go for some smaller movements to the downside. I don't think that would be unreasonable. So that is my game plan for looking at MNQ and NQ. I'm going to go ahead and get NQ marked up as well real quick here, guys. Just in case we want to trade the mini instead of the micros. In fact, I got a feeling that I'm going to trade the mini instead of the micro. Prior day high, prior day low, overnight high, overnight low. Just to keep things consistent, let's get the weekly level marked out. Prior week high. Prior week low. Okay. Done deal. Full chart markup. We are good across instruments here. Let's take a look at ES. Let's go out to the daily here on ES, the S&P 500, just to take a quick look. Yeah, really similar structure out of all of these. Really similar structure. That there's nobody really living in their own world. YM does look a little bit different. Really all of this structure was different on YM, and this structure was different on YM, right? Here's ES, just to show you why I trade YM the way that I trade it, which is quite different. Here's NQ, almost looks like the same damn chart. Here's YM, right? Quite different. We didn't get back above here until way out here. We chopped where NQ and ES just took off, right? And then same thing today, where back above current all-time highs, pushing the upside. Yesterday's move was a little bit different. Overnight session move from this session changeover was a little bit different. So just something to take into consideration. You can see how this looks. But back to ES real quick before market opens in a couple minutes. Yeah, not too far off. All right, refocus time. YM, 15-minute chart. Marked up. Overnight high is pushed to the upside. We have to adjust. Nobody freak out. I mark overnight high and overnight low, which technically are the only ones that are a little bit out for debate for how you might define that, as the Asia-London high, Asia-London low. The area that price trades from session changeover here all the way up until 9:30 a.m. So as this continues to push higher, right, on this 9:28 a.m. candle, I'm going to continue to move that overnight high higher, right? This is pre-market, ahead of NYSE session open. We're continuing to push higher. So I'll do that until we open up for 9:30. The 9:15 a.m. 15-minute candle. But yeah, just to map this out, guys. To map this out. First one is going to be clean to the downside if we get it. I'm going to fade this high. I'm going to fade this high if we pop. It's going to be real clean back in. That's what I'm going to look for. That's what I'm going to look for if we pop to the upside. Very simple. Very, very simple. We're outside. We're getting real close to prior day value area high. I don't know if we come all the way outside of prior day high. I'm going to say this is going to be valid into the 350s as we get ready to open up right here, right now, guys. This one could come quick, so I'm going to get ready for it, which is why I wanted to be on the charts early today. Yay. Yay. This could be something I run with 2 and get a little bit tighter. But for now, we're going to stick with just a 200-point stop and take profit just for reference. Here we go. About 10 seconds to NYSE open. Market is still pushing to the upside here. Let me get rid of this for a second. Still pushing to the upside. Still pushing to the upside. Here we go. Couple seconds to NYSE open. Here it is. Let's see if we get a pop to the upside that I want to try to fade. Ooh, we do. Very aggressive. Very aggressive. I want to give this a second here, guys. I want to give this a second. We got really close to prior day high. Really close. Oh, this might be really fast. This might be a really, really fast movement. I'd love us to crack prior day high before I try this. 30 seconds into the open. There we go. Giving this a second up here, guys. We're coming back in aggressively. Oh, not a lot. What did we just trade it by a tick here? I'm going to give this a second here. I'm going to give this a second to come outside of prior day high. Yeah, we're not done yet. We are not done yet. This is going to be aggressive, guys. Fading all-time highs, but I'm looking for that mean reversion trade back in. That's what I'm going for here. I'm just going to give this a minute. I'm cautious of these 450s. Ooh. Aggressive, aggressive, aggressive. I'm trying this out here, guys. I'm trying this out here. This is going to be the mean reversion. Wanted to see this pop outside of prior day high. I'm not going to go with 2 minis. This could be a really aggressive stop out. I'm taking my trade. I'm taking my trade. I'm going to go with a take profit way, way outside of this. I am short 1 YM mini from 52,428 in a top 1 futures, 150K. Instant funded account. I'm going to go real wide with this. I'm going to go real wide with this. I want to be just dead wrong. I want to allow this thing to move against me for a bit if it's going to. So I'm going to go wide. I'm take profit. Excuse me. I'm entry at 52,428. Stop at 52,688. Way wide today. This is volatile. Shorting into some buying pressure. Popping overnight high, prior day high, looking for that mean reversion trade back in. I don't know that we get it. Gave it a second. I got 50 points above prior day high. Same style of mean reversion trade that I look to take day in and day out. Right back in. If I take the L on this one, I'm going to pop over to another account and see what we could do on NQ. But I'm going to look for us to come back in on this, obviously. I'm going to look for us to come back in on this. That's going to be trade number 1. It's going to be trade number 1. Again, there is a chance that we just take off and go. We just absolutely rip faces to the upside. Ooh. Ooh, NQ selling off. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This could be good or bad. This could be good or bad. Big divergence out of ES and NQ and YM now that the market opened up. We got YM aggressively pushing to the upside. Man, either YM's about to roll over and give me the fat W, or we're gonna catch a fat face-ripping stop loss because NQ is gonna turn back around. I don't think these stay that disconnected for that long. Wow, big turn to the downside out of NQ. Sweep an overnight low here. Ooh. Yeah, this might be a face ripper today, guys. Why I'm trading 52 520s. This might be a face ripper. I'm not taking this, but this is the there it is right here. This is the sweep overnight low for a move right back in. Let's just run a 1-to-1 paper on that one. That's beautiful. Really, really beautiful. This could get interesting for me here. This could get really interesting for me here. Chat, what's going on, man? We got trades on early today, 9:35 a.m. Eastern. Man, we got to make a decision here on YM. Either this thing's going to keep going, I think NQ and ES catch up, or it turns on a dime up here, which is what I was looking for. Off these low 400s, we're into the 500s. Really aggressive push to the upside. Again, I love the mean reversion trade off the open. Kept myself out of it on a day like yesterday where we had so much buying pressure into the open. Today, on a no news Tuesday, after we chopped up here, I'm looking for at least a bit of a pullback. At least the mean reversion. But I don't know that we get it. Don't know that we get it. That is aggressive, man. That is aggressive. Starting to get some sellers taking it lower. This is pretty volatile, but we're going to have to really have sellers step in and see NQ and ES, I think, try to continue the downside. Beautiful sweep of overnight low out of NQ. And then a pop right back in. This could come right back in here and cause an issue for me. Not on NQ yet, though. Let's stay on YM. Let's stay focused. We're going to let this trade play out. And then hop over to NQ. Get some scalping in. That's the game plan. Chat! How are we doing today, guys? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Good morning. Profitable Tuesday all. Let's send it. Let's do what we can do. Remember, profitable Tuesday means trading well. It does not mean making money, right? We know, and I think this is I'm gonna expand on Profitable Tuesday, right? I think it's really important. I love to pull up here and win every day like I've been doing. Just for the record, for anybody, you can go back and fact check this. We ended green yesterday and every other live trading session last week. Friday, Wednesday, and Monday. Okay? It's great. It's great when that happens. We're gonna take losses as well. We'll see about this one today. I'm not losing faith yet. I think we might get a nasty rejection up here. If we push through the 600s, I'm probably cooked. But Profitable Tuesday. Profitable Tuesday. What does profitable trading mean? Does it mean winning every day? Does it mean ending green every day? Does it mean knowing where the market's going to go every day? No. It means waiting for your setup to come patiently, executing to the best of your abilities, managing risk, structuring and accepting your risk, and putting that trade on. Sometimes taking a really good win, sometimes taking a really good loss, avoiding bad losses, avoiding unnecessary losses, right? That's what my Profitable Tuesday is going to look like. Red or green, profitable, right? Profitable in the long run. That's what we're looking for. So I always want to expand on that. Dreya, what's up? Raj, what's up? A-Deal, good morning. Let's go. What's up, everyone? How are you? Time passed. What's happening, dude? Haven't seen you in a while. Dwayne, what's happening? Chris, congrats on the new community. So happy to see how far you've come. Your growth has been amazing. I wish you the success with everything you have planned next. Chris, thank you, man. I appreciate you for saying that, man. I hope to continue to see you here in the live sessions, in the free community, and in the private community if you would like to be there. I'll talk about that a little bit later today. I got the site loaded up. For those of you guys that are not in Discord, what the hell are you doing not in Discord? Hop in the free Discord. Links are down below this chat. You should have got some updates. I got Team Real Deal, my brand new community. I'm very excited about this one, guys. Not going to be for everybody. Not going to be for everybody. But for those that are looking to get serious, looking for that focus group that want more access to me, I think it's going to be pretty solid, man. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I got trades on. I want to watch the market coming into the open. If you want all of the details, hop in the free Discord. I got an announcement video in there from yesterday. Check out the site, realdealfutures.com. Man, what a nice sweep of overnight low. This is dangerous here. This is dangerous. Didn't take this trade, guys, but just mapped it out. Mapped out, you know, what my typical trade on this would look like, right? You know, I like to watch it on very low time frames as we come down really aggressively, right? Sweep overnight low. And again, no hindsight bias, no BS. You can go back to the beginning of the stream where I talked about it. You know, that I think is on a 30-second chart or a 1-minute chart. That's probably the earliest I'm getting into something like this, right? And I typically don't like to go stop loss like that. I typically don't like to go stop loss right below the low. I like to give it a few points. 10 is like not even that much. But something like this for a move back to VWAP, I don't know. That would have been pretty frustrating. I might have gotten edged on this one and stopped to break even. But look, I look for that, you know, simple crack back in after buying pressure through overnight low, overnight high, Asia London lows, Asia London highs, right? See what YM's doing here. We're trying up here. We're trying up here, man. That's pretty nasty, though. It's pretty nasty. What would be max profit on this? I gotta be careful. It'll be 250 ticks, technically. So, sorry guys, just gotta map something out. This is max profit on this account and a payout. Exactly 250. So 178. 52, 178. Sorry, I just had to do some math here. Prop account stuff. You know the drill. Yeah, this take profit level with 1 mini is a payout. Is a payout on this account. It's over $9,000. Let me actually make sure. Let's see. Let's see if the market wants to play nice with me. So these are the top 1 futures, 150K instant funded accounts. Been trading these live with you guys for a while. I'll talk about what these are. I think I only need $1,250 to take me to the promised land on this. If this would load up, that would be great. Not loading. That's not good. That's not good. Come on. Can I load up the dashboard? There we go. Let's see. Let's see. Sorry guys, I just wanted to make sure I don't do anything stupid here. Wouldn't be the first time I've done something stupid. No, but trading different prop accounts is really easy to jack stuff up. It's really easy. You hop in, you take a trade, and you go, oh, all right, you know, winning trade, we close it out. You know, all of a sudden you're like, you're over consistency rules. So these are $1,800 max profit days to take the payout at $9,000. I had a winning day of 1808. I have to make $9,042.50. So let's call that $9,050. And I have $7,995. Where can I see this? Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to do the prop firm math so I don't do anything stupid here. 7795. Is that right? Or I had it before this trade. 1255? Yeah. Yeah. Let's say that's the number. That's the number. 1255 divided by $5 a point, 251. We're gonna go 52,428 is my entry, minus 251. Yeah, 52,177. 52,178 would be 250. 1250. Yeah, yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good, chat. Okay. Let's see what the market's got for me. That's a nice spot. That's not even bad. I mean, we'd have to be holding through VWAP, but right back in here, beautiful, dude. I like this. I like this for a take me to the promised land trade. Take me to the promised land is like, you know, bring you back out of drawdown or get you to a payout or whatever it is. But yeah, man, this will be pretty solid. If not, I'm taking a stop out. Still got plenty of time to trade in these, right? You know, no harm, no foul. Just be working myself towards another couple days of trading before a potential payout. So, yeah, I mean, we'd really have to come back down on this after an aggressive push. Holding through VWAP be dicey. Holding through this, you know, middle ground be a little bit dicey. I'd have to be coming all the way back down. But this is temporary volume point of control for the session, right? You know, looking at session volume profile here, this is pretty clean. Temporary volume point of control, yeah. Visible range volume point of control. I don't mind this. I don't mind this. Now, it's in the market's hands. Okay? It's out of my hands. I've done all I need to do up to this point. Okay? Chat. What's going on, guys? What's going on? Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Sorry, guys. Just checking a couple of messages here. All right. Chat. What's up, guys? Let's talk about it. We're in a trade here. We're short YM on a sweep of prior day high, overnight high for a mean reversion back in. I have a take profit set. I have a take profit set at 52,178. Short 1 mini from 52,428. Stop is wide at 52,688. This is in a top 1 futures 150K account that needs $1,250 to hit the $9,000, or to be a little over $9,000 actually, to be able to take a $3,500 payout. Would be pretty sweet if I could hit this right here with you guys. Would be awesome. Maybe we request a payout right here on the stream. If not, right, remember here's the risk, and I think where so many traders, get jacked up. If not, I'm taking a stop loss, right? We're taking the L, a nice L, $1,500, too great, whatever the number is, right? $1,200, and we live to fight another day, right? Maybe you take a follow-up trade and you DLL the account, great. You still got plenty of profit. Do I know that today is going to be the day that I work towards a payout and I hit the max profit? Nope. Do I care? Nope. Not at all. I can't control what the market's going to do. I can't control right now if Trump comes out and says, good morning, and the market rips 500 points, right? We can put our trades on without reservation or hesitation, right? It's the best of our abilities. That's it. Manage risk, structure, and control our trades. We can't say, I need $1,200 to take a payout, so I'm going to get it right now by doing... The only way that, you're trading your P&L doing that. And the only thing that's going to lead to is bad decision-making, in my humble, biased opinion. So, that's what I got rolling today, guys. Be pretty sweet. Pretty sweet if we could, if we could push for this. I hope my math is right. It wouldn't be the first time my math isn't correct. Anyway, chat, what's going on, guys? Good morning. 30MD30, what's happening? Dwayne, crazy times for sure. SpaceX just passed Amazon in market cap. Did it really? What a time to be alive. Holy SHIT, dude. What? My gosh, man. Hold on. SpaceX price? What is it? It's traded at 217. It's up another 13% today. That's insane. Insane. So I saw that, wow, good. Not everybody lost money. That's a good thing. So I saw the IPO was 135, right? It looked like the opening price, they said, was 150, something like that. But by the time I was looking at it into the morning, it had immediately jumped to like 160 or 170. But to see that it's up and growing from there, insane, dude. Absolutely insane. I do think there's a lot of risk with that one. I think that could turn on a dime and, big reward potential becomes big risk, part of the game. But it's trading 216, 217 right now. That's insane, dude. Insane. That's incredible. Is it the 5th largest by market cap or 6th largest? That is really insane. Oh my gosh, man. SpaceX set to vault past Amazon. Yeah, bro, I don't know about that, though. I don't know about that, man. Listen, value... This is a market. Here's what I found right now, guys. It's absolutely insane. This is a market that defies logic. The market always defies logic, right? But it defies the math. It defies the valuation, right? The revenue, all of the things that people look into doing fundamental value-based investing, right? You know, that really makes sense. And it kind of just goes, what do people think that it's worth? What do people think? What are people speculating? And you know, the institutions, the funds, the big players, what is everybody speculating that it's going to be worth in the future? And that seems to be weighted way heavier than the actual, like, math behind what the company's done and what it's doing right now and what it's projected to do on paper. Like, I don't know, dude. It's absolutely insane. YM pushed to the downside, NQ pushed to the upside. Dude, what are we gonna do here? What are we gonna do here? I don't know about this one, guys. So beautiful. Didn't take this trade, but here's the beautiful setup. You know, just to call it out for you guys. You know, it doesn't help you if you don't get paid. This one would have paid me today. Really beautiful sweep of overnight low for the move back in. Even if you were late to the party, that would be paying. Really solid. Really, really solid move back in. This is worrisome. Not that I trade YM and NQ and ES in correlation. But I don't love when they're all completely not moving together at all or moving in opposite of each other. Beautiful reversion on YM here. Coming back in towards VWAP. I gotta hold this one. But man, this is gonna be a tough one. This is gonna be a tough one. You know, there's a really solid opportunity here, guys. I want to point this out, which I always like to do, where we bounce at VWAP, right? Where we come in, we test prior day's volume point of control, value area high. We just sniff VWAP, and we go right back, right? That's a potential here. I'm going to hold. I'm going to hold this through VWAP back down towards current volume point of control, current temporary volume point of control, whatever you want to phrase it, with visible range volume profile here. Current session volume point of control is below my take profit. I like that. This nice consolidation from pre-market, these highs that we put in pre-market from yesterday, this 9:30 open, right? I do like this. I do like this. The 12 o'clock open, right? All the way back in here, although we did trade back and forth through that today. This is not going to be a terrible hold, but there is a serious chance that this shows me 100 points, which it did right now. Had to take 100 points of heat. It shows me 120 some odd points of profit, which it's doing right now, and it turns on me, okay? I want to talk about that. I'm going to hold this trade. I'm going to hold this one. I put on big risk, not big risk, but I put on decent risk for this one. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to hold it towards a take profit. Again, VWAP is a line in the sand. There's a reason it's on my chart. I don't trade to and from VWAP, but I do like to pay attention to where it is for trade management like this. I'm holding through that today. I don't love that we got a chunk of volume like right here. I think we could get, that would be really painful. We could get close in here, but this is something I'm going to hold. This is something I'm going to hold. Here's the move back to VWAP. Decision-making time to come through this really aggressively would be beautiful. We're going to see what the market's got for me. Going to see what the market's got for me. But win or lose on this one, you can see the movement that I trade for, guys. You know, this is why I like to get involved really aggressively on YM. Beautiful mean reversion. Beautiful mean reversion, right? Shoot, man. Maybe on another day I'm a little bit more conservative. I wait a little bit more and I'm closer to a take profit now, but you know, not today. Not today. Get involved off the low 400s. But yeah, beautiful reversion. I can't ask for, you know, I can't ask for anything too different than what we did up here. This is really nice. Now it just needs to continue for me or tell me to stop holding through VWAP. But that's beautiful. It's beautiful seller stepping in. Let's just see what this does for us. Completely erased this drive off of the open. Really nice. Really nice. Seller stepped in. Volume did die off, but that's pretty natural. We did have some serious volume coming back down in. Coming right at VWAP. Of course, we got volume. Buying volume. NQ rolling over. That don't look bad. That don't look bad for this trade. Anyway. Talk through trade management. I'm going to hold. Right? Diamond hands. The Bruce Lee meme. Diamond hands. Panic seller. Paper hands. Nope. Diamond hands. Anyway, yeah, guys. SpaceX crazy. SpaceX crazy. How long until SpaceX starts evening out? I don't know. No idea. No idea. Maybe it just runs. Maybe it turns to the downside. Who knows? Good morning, Normal. Digital Nukes, what's up? Sage, what's up? Guys, if you're on here, smash the like button. Smash the like button. I used to say that all the time on my streams. I used to say smash the like button. And this was when my office was in my house. And I'd come out of my room after my stream. And my wife would be like, if I hear you say smash the effing like button one more time, I'm going to jump off a bridge. Like, stop saying that. Nowadays, I'm just too locked into the market. Anyway, let's see what YM's got for me. Let's see if we're going to catch the stupid clean bounce off of VWAP, come all the way back through the highs, and turn this from a $500 to $600 potential W into a loser. I don't know, chat. I don't know. I think there's a lot of potential for this to be a choppy day, even into the latter part of the day. If we do have to come back up, sniff around these highs again and come back down. I would have loved to see that continue through VWAP. Love to continue it back down towards volume point of control. Finding buyers here. I'm going to try to hold on to this trade the way that I know that I should. But I don't love that reaction after the big reaction down. Let's see what NQ chart is looking like. Wicked higher, started to roll over. Yeah, man, we're gonna decide what we want to do before FOMC, right? We got news tomorrow. This is gonna need to decide what it wants to do. Man, I'd love to see these drop a bit. Would love to see it. VWAP, man. Effing VWAP. Good time to talk about VWAP, I guess. Volume weighted average price is the line on my chart here. It's one of the only indicator style indicators I have, although it is a volume tool. This is the reason I have it on my chart, guys. I don't think it's completely random that we decided to bounce right at 52,316 where VWAP is. Fucking VWAP, man. But not much for me to do besides just hang on to this one. I'm probably not going to scalp NQ at the same time in this account. Probably just going to chill and see if we can't catch the W on this. Maybe we continue to map out trades on NQ. I'm not really able to swap back and forth. This would have been a really nice W. Right there. Sweeping overnight low. Again, not hindsight. Mapped this out before. Not executed, so not really worth much, but now that we come back through, now that we're coming back through, we either dip our toe back in here and pop through the highs, or we start to drop. That's my thesis here. If we start to drop, we got yesterday's value area low, this little chunk of volume in here to the downside, maybe this consolidation, but this is kind of feeling like we want to pop. And YM's going to start to move higher. Yeah, this one's going to be painful. Might not give it to me today, guys. No, I don't know if it does. No stop loss to break even at all on this trade. This is going to be a stop out or a take profit. That's going to be it. Yeah. Leave NQ bookmap up like I have been. Anyway. Gonna chill on this one. Appreciate you guys hopping on. We're gonna see what we can do. Gonna see if we can't keep the payout train rolling. Took a top step payout yesterday. I'm eligible for another one of those. I don't know if I want to put a little bit more of profit in the account. I don't have that much in that one. I think I'm gonna be eligible for my first Alpha Trader payouts coming up. I've been trading some Alpha Trader premium accounts. Alpha Futures, Alpha Trader, Alpha Futures, whatever, accounts. I think I'm going to be eligible for my first couple. I got a couple of 50K accounts with $3,000, $4,000 worth of profit in them. I'm going to see if I can't snag some payouts. I'll see what that process looks like. It'd be nice to test that. But I should be eligible. Should be eligible. I stocked up on a bunch of those $39 evals. I told you guys about it. I posted about it. I said, when you watch me take payouts, it's because I bought a half a dozen of these, and I'm going to trade them really aggressively. So we'll see. We'll see what I could do on Alpha Futures after that. If you're not following on IG or you're not in Discord, hop in and you'll see how it goes for me. But while we're chilling here, guys, I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab a drink. There's really not much for me to do in this trade besides let it run. I will BRB, chat. Be right back. Back in action with you guys here. Chat. How we doing, guys? How are we doing? Disgusting, man. Disgusting bounce back off of VWAP. I still got faith. I still got faith. I hate that we caught such a big bounce off of VWAP. I really do. I hate that we're coming back through these highs. Really don't like that at all. Obviously, love to see trades just move directly in my favor. We had to take some heat on this one. Back through entry after 100 and some odd points in profit. Hate to see it, but this is going to be a diamond hands. This is not going to be one that I'm doing anything. 125-ish points of profit. This is not going to be one that I do anything with. This is going to be a let it run. Let it run to stop loss or take profit. I really don't love that, right? You see a similar movement here. This is just going to be one that I hold. Again, I like the news tomorrow potential for not a huge bullish day that gets put in here on Dow. But I don't like this low time frame price action. But we're trading off the 15-minute chart, right? Clipping this thing with a $1,200, $1,300 stop at $500 in the long run is going to generate a really nice positive win rate, but a really negative risk to reward. Not exactly what I want to do here on YM. Not what I want to do on YM at all, in fact. So what are we gonna do, chat? Hold on. This is what we're gonna do, chat. This is what we're gonna do. Diamond hands. My favorite meme. We'll hold this bad boy, see how that plays for us today. NQ, man. NQ with the beautiful bounce off of overnight low. Back to VWAP. I mean, pretty choppy overall. This is not insane. Where's 930? Here's our 930 candle. Here's our 930 low. Excuse me. Here is our 930 candle. Here's our NYSE session so far. You know, from 9:30 a.m. to where we're trading. Not amazing. Right? Not amazing. Here's VWAP. I mean, this is overall very choppy. Not super direction. Not a lot of direction, I'll say. Kind of directionless. Cracked overnight low. Pop to the upside. Beautiful trade right in here for that movement. We'll see if YM gives it to me today. This would have. It's a little disappointing to see that. Test back through VWAP. Pushing back up. Kind of choppy. You know, we're going to roll over here and keep a bearish day, right? Like, are we going to roll over and keep a bearish day after cracking this prior day high, all-time high? Or are we just going to come back through and grind higher ahead of FOMC rate and conference tomorrow? You know, that's the question. That's the question. Very indecisive so far, looking at a higher time frame, though. Taking a look at ES. Yeah, kind of a similar movement out of ES. A little bit cleaner to the upside here after closing out on a little bit of a bearish move into the close yesterday. Pushing the upside now after chopping around. Yeah, these couldn't drag us lower. That would have been really nice. These couldn't drag the markets lower, could they? Yuck. Yuck, chat. Again, for me, my style, nothing for me to do on this. Nothing for me to do but hang on to it. Might be one of those days where you're on the line for the payout, right? That's what I got here. On the line for the payout. $1,200 away from a max payout in a 150K account. And it's been straight green, but today's the loss, right? It could be. It could be. I don't know. We're not there yet, right? We're not there yet. But it could be. What do? Try not to do anything too crazy. Right, take the win, take the loss, move on to the next, the next trade. Yeah, VWAP. VWAP was the play today. VWAP was the play today. Anyway, gonna hang out. Gonna sit in it with you guys and see what we get. Mike, what's up, man? Good morning, gang. This is crazy. Actually, good thing I'm blown, or I'd be blown. Good thing you're out already, otherwise you'd be out. That's funny. That's funny. That's too funny. Anyway, guys, while we're chilling, man, yeah, I'm gonna yap about my new program, man. If you guys have not, or you're not in Discord, you haven't seen, you weren't there yesterday. If you guys want to check out. You want to check out my new program, my new private paid program. There it is in chat. Link is going to go straight to the site that gives you all of the info. This way I have to repeat myself 1,000 times. Link's going to go straight to the site, give you all the info. You can hop in Discord as well and get all of the info in a video if you don't like to read. Be more than happy to have you guys in there trading live with me every damn day in a focused community. A video module series with 30 plus videos put together on my trading strategy, charts, markup, approach, risk management, prop firms, mindset, psychology, thinking and probabilities, structuring risk in prop firm accounts, structuring risk in live accounts, making improvements, backtesting, journaling, everything under the sun. We're more than happy to have you guys in there. If you want to check it out, link is in the chat. Well, good thing I'm blown or I'd be blown is great. Yeah, Rob. Rollover, OPEX, FOMC, holiday week. Lost 2 accounts this week, ignoring my inner voice. Yeah, man, it's a gnarly week. It's a gnarly week, right? We got some different stuff cooking. You know, rollover week is often kind of funky, right? FOMC, holiday week on Friday, right? All of that could add into, you know, kind of abnormal price action. Sage Gaming, what is the difference between VWAP and moving average? Well, the first difference is right there in the name, right? VWAP is volume weighted average price, right? Volume weighted average price anchored to what point? Anchored to session changeover. So when you put a standard VWAP on your chart, which is in the indicators tab under volume weighted average price, VWAP, VWAP, some people call it. It is giving you the volume weighted, right, average price based on session changeover. So as you can see, if you look at the 1 minute chart, we come all the way back over here. All right. Whoa. Come all the way back over here. Why is TradingView doing that? A little funky. Average price, right, starting right here. All right. As price opens up, here's our average price. As we start to trade, this is giving us the average price weighted by volume, okay? So it is technically a volume indicator, but it's also giving you an average price. A moving average, right? A moving average is just exactly what it sounds like. It's an average price based on a set input, right? Maybe the last 14 candles, the last 100 candles, the last 200 candles, the last 8 candles, right? There's simple moving averages, exponential moving averages, smooth moving averages, triple EMA. There's a million different moving averages, but essentially it's going to give you an average price, but it's not going to weight that by volume, right? Volume weighted average price, in my humble biased opinion, is one of the strongest dynamic moving average type indicators you could have on your chart. As you could see today, and yesterday, and almost every other day, you know, we typically don't get zero reaction at VWAP, right? It is a, you know, is a really important key line on the chart. So, you know, is one better than the other? You know, no, right? Is one stronger or going to give you some better reaction than the other? No, it's all going to come into play on, you know, how you use it, on what instrument, right? What time frame, you know, that type of a deal. You can use multiple different volume weighted average prices. You could use different moving averages. You can use an anchored VWAP, right? You can come in here, and instead of having a session VWAP, you could use an anchored VWAP, right? Here's an explanation. Also, if you want explanations on indicators and TradingView drawing tools, TradingView does a really beautiful chart of explaining it, right? You know, probably better than I have. And videos, look at that, right? But I hope it's pretty similar to, you know, to what I'm telling you, right? Volume weighted average price for a specific time period. So this is actually the same thing as a, you know, a session VWAP. You're just going to anchor it to a different spot. All right. Anchored VWAP is, once you click it, is ready to be anchored. Maybe you say, I want a 3 a.m. anchored VWAP, all right? Volume weighted average price starting at the point that you anchor it to. Some people will run prior day session, anchored VWAP. Right, some people will run NYSE session, news candle, you know, important lows, important highs, right? So, anchored VWAP. TradingView is awesome, dude. I forgot they had that. That's ridiculous. I think around Christmas, this gives you, like, Christmas stuff. What is it? Emojis? It's funny. That's really funny. So, yeah, hopefully that's, hopefully. Ooh. NQ rolling over. Oh, come on, man. Come on, Dow. What? All right. Last decision-making time here for these markets, man. NQ absolutely rolling over. Turning to the downside here. Dropping below current session lows, overnight lows. Trying to make a case to move lower. We're going to come into yesterday's value area low. Key spot on the chart, man. This is going to be really interesting. If YM can't start to follow suit, I'm going to be cooked on this, is my humble opinion. Again, not really trading these in correlation or lack thereof, but just paying attention to the other markets, right? We can't turn to the downside here. If ES and NQ find buyers, which it looks like they're going to try to do, this is going to be lights out. Otherwise, those two are going to start to drop, right? And I think we could potentially see YM come back in. You know, again, I don't really trade them in correlation, but since I trade both NQ and YM nowadays at the same time, just inherently, I got to pay attention to what's going on here. This is making the case for the move lower, man. Swept overnight low, popped back in, couldn't hold VWAP. We got volume to the downside now, rolling over. Breaking and retesting overnight low, coming back towards the lows. This is looking very weak. Very weak. If we come right back through and we shoot through VWAP, you know, we make for the case for that choppy day. It's going to be interesting to watch. Really interesting to watch. So let's see. VWAP anchors at a specific time. That's Luca answer in the chat. Generally used by institutions for fair value. Yep, that's another good explanation. It is used as a fair value point. NQ below VWAP, below weekly VWAP now. Okay, nice. Hey Zach, why do you still use TradingView? I find it incredibly restrictive for serious trading, especially using order book and options flow data. I would agree. I use TradingView because outside of Tradeovate, it is the only really solid option for charting and trading for the prop accounts that I trade with. But hopefully, we have a new platform that is way more advanced, that has built-in order flow, indicators, charting tools, ATM settings for automated trade management, a whole lot more. Risk settings coming, hopefully. Zach, why don't you use a footprint for better entries? Obviously, I'm a nobody to criticize your trading system, but since you have Bookmap, feels like you're on the table. Feels like you're leaving on the table a lot of good tools. So for me, Luca, I think Footprint can be a great tool. I don't think Footprint will generate any better entries at all for me or for majority of traders. I'm of the belief that trading with as stupidly simple as an approach as I possibly can is going to be really, really, really helpful for me, right? I don't think adding in Sierra charts for footprints and then more information by way of Bookmap, more information by way of, options flow data, the endless amount of things you can add in is going to present me with any additional edge. I really, truly believe that. That for me, is just a personal preference. I found that overcomplicating my trading, my strategy, my approach in the past and trying to use all this additional data not only didn't help by providing any additional edge, I'm watching NQ push to the downside, it worked against me because it provided too much conflicting data, right? Can any of those tools and do any of those tools provide really solid, meaningful information by way of, the actual info they're providing, the data they're providing? Maybe things that aren't, you're not able to see on a TradingView chart, or maybe like a footprint chart that you're not able to see on Bookmap, which is order flow. Sure, absolutely. Are they going to help you? Are you going to be able to use them in a way that is beneficial to create an additional edge, right? Consistently over a long period of time. That's the question, right? That's the question. For a lot of traders, for some traders, that answer is yes, for sure. For me, I use what I use, right? I use my basic trading view chart, which I like for charting. I don't like for trading. I don't like the way that these candles print. I've talked about that quite a bit. I don't like many other softwares for charting or the way that they print. I use Bookmap for order flow a little bit. Really not even that much. And a little bit of news information from News Squawk. You know, maybe some outside sources. But to run all of these other, pieces of information on my chart or on separate monitors, I have not found helpful. Tested a lot of different ways. And I was of the belief for a long time it was helpful. It's a good question. I was of the belief for a long time that more information, more advanced charting platforms and data was going to be helpful, right? If you're not using order flow, you're not trading. If you're not using footprint charts, you're not trading. If you're not, looking at where dealers are hedging in the option markets and gamma exposure and all of these different things, you're trading blind, right? I don't find that it helps. I don't find that it helps me. I don't find that it helps most traders, actually, believe it or not. More information is not really going to help us cope with the randomness of the market on the short term, and that dealing with all of that information not really providing any additional edge or better entries at all, in my humble biased opinion. I think find what works for you, right? Maybe footprint charts and what did we say? Footprint charts and order book and options flow data is going to provide a better entry for you specifically, or it's going to provide additional confidence for you and your trading, right? And you're going to be able to use that to present a more advanced edge, right? Something that's more robust. And if you can, awesome, go for it, send it 100%. Where I find a lot of traders struggle is there's so much good information, right? There's so many different indicators that you could utilize. There's so much different volume data. There's so much different price and time data, order flow data, options data, footprint information, right? So many different ways you could see these things displayed. But being able to actually use that in real time and execute in a way that presents some additional edge is difficult. It is difficult to bring to actual trading it. For me, what works best is stupidly simple approach, right? But that's personal to me, right? What I've found works over years and years and years of doing the other stuff, right? Of testing the other way. So hopefully that helps. Lucid gives you Motive Wave with level 2 data. I like that a lot. Oh, nice. Yeah, I've used Motive Wave before in live accounts. I'll tell you this, right? For price action and market structure, we doing a giveaway today? Maybe. For price action and market structure and charting itself, right? For really viewing just basic charting on TradingView, I haven't found anything I like at all. I don't like Motive Wave. I don't like TradingView. I don't like Sierra Charts. I don't like Ninja Trader. I don't like any of it. Probably because I was just born and raised on TradingView, right? I have been testing with another platform that I do really like. But I like stupidly simple stuff. So I'd like a TradingView chart. I would just like it to be fast. I would like a Project X style fast, printing of candles, which we just do not get. It's extremely slow and laggy. It's not level 2 data here on TradingView at all. But we work with our options, right, to the best of our abilities. So anyway, yeah, I hope I hope that answers some of the questions. I'm always happy to help. I'm always happy to answer some of that stuff, right? But to dispute the claim, right? I do not think I'm leaving a lot on the table at all by not using different platforms or trying to incorporate more data into my trading. In fact, I think that the opposite is true. If I had 47 more levels on my chart, 47 more indicators, and 47 more, softwares displaying advanced data, it would not help me more, it would hurt me. I would have a reason to do 47 different things that I would create this really advanced, beautifully sounding narrative around, that would only really generate more frustration around not being right all of the time. So, but again, that's just my thoughts around trading. You know, that's my thoughts around trading, right? Obviously, I like volume. You can see the basic volume tools that I have in my chart. I like a little bit of order flow on the left-hand side with Bookmap, being able to pay attention to, you know, all the U.S. indices. But even that, I use secondary. Even that, I really use secondary. But again, Luca and anybody else, don't let me dissuade you from going down that, you know, that path. I think, you know, to kind of bring this whole thought home, you will watch traders trade professionally and not professionally, but consistently profitable traders. Man, NQ rolling over, dude. YM can't do it. Whoa. You'll watch so many different traders use so many different tools, right? You'll watch exclusively DOM order flow based traders, right? You'll watch guys that are going to use time and sales. You'll watch guys that are going to use, you know, options data almost exclusively, and they're going to trade the options market and the futures market. You're going to watch just price action traders. I've watched traders use raw price action charts, zero volume, zero order flow, zero footprints, zero options, none of it at all, and absolutely clean up, right? I watched that for a long period of time with Hogard. He's a great example of that. Who is reading price action bar by bar? I always forget his name, man, and I read a bunch of his stuff. God. Not Larry Pesavento. Al Brooks. Right? So you'll watch that. But then you'll also watch traders. Beautiful break and retest to the downside. I don't know if we're going to get this. You'll also watch traders do the opposite. You'll watch traders use really advanced and multiple pieces of information in their trading, right? They're looking at real-time news. They're hardly looking at just regular price action market structure charts, regular Japanese candlestick charts. They're watching order flow by way of many different instruments across many different, you know, softwares. They're watching footprint charts, you know, custom Sierra charts, you know, options flow information, options levels, right? You know, and maybe that helps them. You know, maybe that helps them. You know, so again, there's more than one way to do this. Plenty of different ways to do this. I've gone down that road for quite a while in the past, and for me, it only brought more losses. You know, but that's up to the individual trader to do. I think everybody has to experiment and try to find something that works for them. What I do find is that many traders overcomplicate their trading a lot, and again, this is just from my experience. I find many traders overcomplicate their trading with a lot of good advanced information, but they end up so far, and I just made a video about this yesterday, which is the complete opposite of what we're talking about. It's extremely simple. They end up so far from clicking a button randomly with all of this advanced information. They end up so far from randomly clicking the buy and sell button, less, you know, fees, commissions, spreads, whatever other things are going to erode that edge. And they end up with a straight shot equity curve down, right? So stripping away a lot of that and recognizing if we could just try to find spots on a Japanese candlestick chart that might be a little bit better to enter, that might provide us with a little bit of a positive win rate, or we might try to hold our winning trades a little bit longer than our losing trades. We can start to get closer to the break-even level. But yeah, this is just, you know, my thoughts. My thoughts. Have you tried Bookmap? Bookmap's charting? No, I don't like Bookmap. I have, excuse me. Yeah, I have. I do not like Bookmap's charting at all. I don't like candlesticks on Bookmap. I like Bookmap as a secondary order flow software. I need help staying low when the market moves, but loses momentum. I probably made 250K passing evals to get 2 payouts. Yeah. It's the psychology, man. That's the psychology behind it. Understand, I'm of a very different approach generally. I believe more data is almost always better, and I usually find the advice of simplicity to be very misguided, but to each their own. Sure. You're right, your video yesterday came at the right time. I found myself more profitable, being a bit more intuitive, and having a strict system-based approach. Well, profitable theory. Awesome. Yeah, Luca, no, again, I respect your opinion. I respect your opinion, 100%. You know, we are all challenged to create our own understanding of what trading is, what profitable trading is, and how to get there, right? And I think most people are we're all gonna end up on, on one end of the spectrum or somewhere in between. I would agree with you. I do think simplicity can be very misguided, but I think we are on opposite ends of the spectrum, because I strongly disagree that more data is better. I think that more data is usually worse. And I think that simplicity is almost always going to beat, in the long run, complexity in trading. But again, I think you get people, and this is where I started, right? You get the other side of the spectrum where, you sit here and you go, how can you possibly compete in an arena with hedge funds and algorithms and millions of dollars, right, being thrown at the most advanced system with the most advanced data? How can you even think that you're able to do that, right? So more data, more information, more advanced software, and better data and faster data, right? Can that be helpful? Again, like I said, I think it can. It can be. Is it always? Not always. I think it depends. So, again, I think we see extremes. I think we see middle grounds where, I would find myself much more on the simplicity, discretionary side of trading. Not super duper advanced data and charting and levels. I just don't find it super helpful. And then you find people on the other end of the spectrum, right? Where you find people that are just straight raw price action market structure, which I do think is an extreme. And then you find people on the other end of the spectrum where it's tons of data, right? Candlestick charts, multiple time frames, multiple markets, order flow, options data, information from the metals market, from the Forex market, from, news, right? Taking into account fundamentals. There's an endless amount of information that you can utilize. So, but again, just different schools of thought. I don't think one is wrong. I really don't think one is wrong, right? Again, I watch guys trade for long periods of time in the retail market, in live accounts and in prop accounts at both ends of that spectrum, profitably, extremely profitably on both ends. What does that tell me? There's not one right or wrong way to do it. There's not one right or wrong way to do it. It's just what works for you, for your mind, right? How much information can you process? What information helps you make good trading decisions? How are you able to utilize that? And, how does that all come together to create a system that you can approach the markets with every day? But, so I think experiment, right? I think if you're struggling, the advice, not financial advice, but the input that I give, if you're struggling, I think simplify your stuff as much as you possibly can and then try to build out from there. But experiment. Experiment with different information, different data. Find what works for you. What's too much, what's not enough. But hopefully that helps, man. Hopefully that helps. Again, we're operating in a really boundless market. A really boundless market, right? Of endless possibilities. And that can be really good and really bad, right? There's not a lot of structure. There's no structure, really. I'll go a little bit further because I think this is important. It is it's kind of a core piece of the way that I approach the markets, of my belief system, and everybody has a different system, a different belief system. I do think some stuff out there is just fundamentally incorrect when we get to like the smart money concept, boys. Like there's going to be some stuff out there that is just that I know the person that wrote the algorithm and I know exactly where price is going to go at every single minute, and I could trade it to the tick. I think like that probably is the only stuff that toes the line of like it's just inherently incorrect with the way that the markets function. But there's so many different narratives around the market and what it's going to do and why, what it does, right? And most people lean into one area over another. Price action, you know, time, volume, order flow, momentum, you know, deltas or you know, options, right? There's so many traders that are, the options market has a stranglehold on the US indices and the futures market, and dealers hedge, and this is what happens and why. Or some are extremely fundamentally, you know, news-based. They say, all this is BS, all this technical stuff that you do is, you know, foo-foo, you know, witchcraft, and it's based on, you know, what the Fed is doing. It's based on, you know, some other, you know, fundamental driver, right? Anyway, here was a big turning point for me. Here was a big turning point for me. Yes, great explanation. I appreciate you. Thanks, man. And again, I can only base this stuff off of my experience. And I'm not the best trader in the world. I don't have it all figured out. I think I got some juice. We'll see. But here was a big turning point for me, right? Years into trading, when I was consistently losing money, right? Consistently losing money. I wasn't a blow-up trader. I wasn't an emotional, you know, disregard risk and blow up. I was more of a slow bleed. I was more of a like, dude, I don't know how you are managing these trades so poorly and entering so poorly, but slow bleed to the downside. Sure, plenty of wins in there, but losses more frequent, losses that were outweighing wins, you know, the whole 9 yards, right? I got around some retail traders that were preaching simplicity, that were preaching discretion, that were preaching, you know, not using a lot of data and information and indicators and tools that I was using, that I was of this belief. You have to make it complicated. It has to be complex. It has to be so robust. How could we be so arrogant to think that we could make money with a stupidly simple discretionary approach? It's impossible to try to, you know, outsmart the markets that way, right? When we don't have to outsmart the markets in the first place. Anyway, I watched enough, I read enough, and I watched these guys, and I went, you know what? Let me just try, bro. Because right now, if I entered with a 1-to-1 in completely random market conditions, and again, I just made a video on this. If I entered with a 1-to-1, risking $100 to make $100, with a wide enough stop and take profit, right? In random market conditions, which we know we don't have, with no spreads and fees and commissions, right? And anything else that would eat into it, which we know we don't have, I would be break even. I would be exactly break even. Even in non-random market conditions, which I don't believe they're completely random over long periods of time, and even with spreads and fees and commissions, I would be way better off than I was. Way better off. Just entering blindly with a 1-to-1, right? So I went, okay, wait a minute. If I come back to that as a core math fact here, right? Yes, I'd still lose money, right, over the long run. You know, we'd be on the wrong side of trends sometimes randomly. You'd have things that eat it. But I would have had way more money than I had. If I just come back to that, can I strip my candlestick chart down enough and identify areas based on price action and market structure that I think would be good spots to manage risk? That I think would be good spots where I believe one thing is more likely to happen over another based on historical price action and market structure. And would I be able to manage my trades in a way that would generate a slightly higher risk to reward? When a trade starts to move against me and doesn't work out and you know, makes higher lows in my short against me or chops around for too long, am I able to exit that a little bit early and on average have a little bit lower of a realization of stop loss? And am I able to hold my winning trades a little bit longer? Am I able to hold, you know, past that 1-to-1 point or all the way, just all the way to the 1-to-1 point, right? And the answer, when I ran that experiment over a large sample size, was a resounding yes. Was a resounding, not only are you able to be way better off and get closer to break even, you're able to make money consistently over a decent period of time. So that was a big structural shift, right? A big structural shift for me. And it was also around the same time that I was diving deep into the way that I was thinking about trading, my psychology and mindset around the distribution of wins and losses for any given set of variables to define an edge, quoting Mark Douglas there, whether it's based on extremely, you know, advanced, complex, robust data or a stupidly simple line chart, right? You know, worse than a candlestick chart. You're still going to deal with that natural win and loss, positive and negative variance, right? You know, we're going to have to control our emotions. What separates the best traders, in my humble biased opinion, is not some secret amount of data that they're using or more robust data or more information. It's the way that they think about trading. It's certainly their experience in the market, but it's their application of their discretion based on their mindset, based on their thought process, their confidence, their emotional control, their emotional regulation. And that came together to start to push me over break even from completely losing. So I carry a lot of that with me. And again, I have met in person and spoken to and worked with tons of different traders that have a very different mindset about the markets and a very, very different fundamental belief system. And I think that's okay. And I've met many different people across that spectrum that make money consistently over time in the markets, right? And I think that's the beauty of what we do. I think it's a challenge because it leaves so many doors open for us. But I really think that's the beauty of what we do here. Again, I think there's exceptions to this rule. That there's stuff out there that just is so, like, way to the extremes, right? Like, I don't know about trading, like, the sun's rays and, like, the moon cycles, you know? Like, I don't know about anybody that wrote the algorithm, you know, that, like, it knows exactly where price is going to go based on, just like price actions, and they have a 99% win rate with a super high risk reward. Like some of it gets out to the fringe. But yeah, that's kind of the, that's the thought process that I bring to trading. And lastly, last but not least here, I continue to learn more. I continue to stay a student of the market. I apply this to all areas of my life. I never believe I have it all figured out. How can I possibly have it all figured out, man? Information as energy is just, it's endless. We could always learn more, the world's going to adapt, things are going to advance. Look at AI, what's happening. The markets are going to continue to change drastically. What we're doing now on the software and the programs and how we're trading did not exist decades ago. Just completely different. Nothing was the same at all. So, the edges that we're attempting to execute now, the way that we're approaching the market is going to be different if you want to be here for the long run. So you're going to have to learn more and adapt and, and change. So I approached it that way as well, where like, this is what I believe now. This is what I believe as of today. As I continue to experience more in trading in the markets and life, as I learn more, as I work with more people, I'll continue to use that to my advantage, to the best of my abilities. So that's the full scope. I hope that kind of brings it full circle. Yes, greatest. Opposite path. I came into trading with the mainstream advice of discretion and simplicity, but was never really worked out. And systematic analysis of data was what worked better. That's great, man. That's epic. That's epic. Dre, absolutely. I followed another trader that trades only supply and demand and has been consistently profitable. Sure, Dre, what's happening? I generally found much better results when I incorporated large data sets between different markets, order flow, options, and news. Obviously, there are always some level of discretion to filter noise. Sure. That's awesome, dude. That's absolutely awesome. That's epic. It's a different path, I think, than what most people find, believe it or not. Like, I don't know. When I came in, it was all about complexity and, the secret, formula of using so many different tools and, and mechanical trading, very mechanical trading. I was on a hunt for objective rules-based systems, not discretion, trading like a machine. So different paths, but that's awesome, dude. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. I love it. Love to hear it. Again, I think, I don't want to go too far to the extreme, right? Where I think just trading, price action, support and resistance with a 1-to-1 and, randomly entering and you're going to make money consistently. And I do mention that in the video that I made when I talk about, and I think applying your discretion of all the tools that you use is going to be important, right? And you can make the argument that what I do here is not that simple. You could say, Zach, you have multiple objective levels on a candlestick chart. You have multiple technically indicators, but volume tools on your chart that you're using in conjunction with each other. You're trading, multiple assets. You have an order flow chart running, and I run news. I run a paid $4,000 a year, real-time news service, News Squawk, which I talk about and show you guys, right? You can say that's not simple at all, and you're using all of that to make these, educated trading decisions. That would be fine. But the other back end piece of this, before I finish up the topic, I think, as we watch this trade just kind of chop around now. The other back end piece of this is, which I'm more and more of a believer, you can make a lot of different things work, and another big piece of this puzzle is experience, right? Is experience. So if you grind one system long enough, you're probably going to start to be able to move the needle in your favor, right? And I do think that, early on, whatever you do is not going to work, right? I don't know anybody that gets consistently profitable in a year or two. That's just the God's honest truth. I've never seen it happen. I've seen some really awesome cases where people make a ton of money early on, first couple months, first couple years. They almost always spectacularly blow up or have a nasty, curve that's just the mean reverting. So I think whatever you do early on is just not going to work, and usually that can kind of leave a bad taste in your mouth, and you're going to have to develop as a trader in one way or another. But that experience is going to come into play, a massive amount. So I think you could give, an inexperienced trader a stupidly simple system with a great edge, that's proven over a large sample size that somebody else trades with their own discretion that they would just completely not be able to use. You could give that same trader, a beautiful amount of advanced data, from all of these different paid outlets, and they do the same, they get the same results, right? It just doesn't work. So experience in whatever you're going to use is going to play a massive role, So I always like to be real about that as well. Anyway, that was a long conversation on it, but opposing view set and belief system, which again I respect and agree with, right? And recognize that will work for others, and again, last thought, at its core, which is what I've tried to maintain, what works for me and what works for one trader I believe will not work the same for other traders. There are some traders that say, no, there's a right and wrong. This is what makes money. This is what doesn't make money. And everybody over here is an idiot, and everybody over here is smart. And this is what you have to do to make money. I'm not of that belief. There are some traders that teach whatever they teach and do whatever they do, that, that's what they believe. I find also the best traders do not believe that. They've been around long enough to see it done so many different ways. Simple, complex, a lot of data, not a lot of data, different markets, different strategies, different approaches, everything, time frames, the whole thing. And they are in agreement that there's not one way to skin this cat. You're going to have to find what works for you, use the information that works for you. So anyway, that is a core fundamental belief. Again, outside of some really, really far out there extremes, okay? Outside of some super far out there extremes that, get presented in the retail trading space as the holy grail, right? The too good to be true. Pieces of information that if you just do this, you'll be a millionaire. This generates an insane edge that's not available by any hedge fund or professional outfit with millions of dollars at its exposure. I think probably not. Probably not. So anyway, that's the long-winded explanation, guys. Watching this trade not do anything here, guys. Sitting patiently, try not to clip anything early. We came back, tested this level multiple times. NQ continuing to drive lower here. We didn't blast lower, but we are certainly not catching a ton of buyers. We broke through pretty aggressively to the downside. I'm still cautious just based on something, again, like we talked about, based on the context of the news cycle that we have, right? Based on some fundamentals, some macro, that we don't get a huge movement out of the market ahead of FOMC. I don't know. So we test down in here, and then what? We pull back up. We kind of settle with a smaller range, a choppy movement. You know, if we start to let go, where are we going for price exploration mode here to the downside with NQ? We're through yesterday's value area, testing this choppy consolidating, you know, last bit of price action and volume before we get down towards the open of the week, down towards what was prior day's low, down towards the gap. I wasn't really, you know, if you ask me what I thought was going to happen today, more of this, where we just chop around on the U.S. indices, not a larger movement. So I don't know. Maybe we come back up, but so far we're trying to make the case to move lower. YM holding, showing a lot more strength today. Retested VWAP, got back above, not following suit on NQ. Again, I don't typically trade them in correlation. You know, that's not a massive part of my decision-making process here, but I do take it into consideration, right? Like I'm saying today, NQ selling off really aggressively after chopping, and YM not being able to follow suit is not good for this trade, right? I would indicate YM is holding a lot stronger. As soon as NQ starts to turn, we get YM starting to pop back up. Not great for the trade, right? NQ comes back in to towards VWAP. I think YM potentially makes a higher high. But for me, and the way that I'm managing this trade, my stupidly simple approach, like we're talking about it, I'm not going to do anything here. Find over a large sample size based on this price action structure, exercising discretion to clip a trade in here around break even, not really going to help me out. There's also a dynamic of trading the prop firm accounts that I'm trading that is not really relative to live account trading, where, you know, there's time elements, there's consistency elements, there's minimum trading days elements, right, that drive, you know, our decision making for better or for worse. Usually it's for worse, but if you acknowledge what you're doing on the front end, I think, you know, you can still be dangerous. So, long story short, I'm gonna let this one run. Hit the like button, guys. Yep, hit the like button. Don't like videos only for giveaways. Yeah, man, smash the like button. Smash the like button. You guys, we're light on here with likes today. That's okay. Light on here with likes. Anyway, good conversation on the thought process around trading, simplicity, complexity, different data used. I think that's awesome to be able to share that. So, Luca, thank you for the questions. Thanks for the comments, man. I appreciate you hopping on and give me something to talk about. Here's my game plan, guys. I'm going to let this run. If I manage with discretion, I'll try to call it out in the free Discord. I'll try to give you guys an update. This is more likely just going to be a win or a loss, holding into the afternoon here. If we start to drift higher, I'm not going to love it. Maybe there's a situation where I close out if it just is looking horrible. If we drop down here, there's a situation where I go stop to break even, where the trade moves so damn far in my favor that I really would prefer to not let it move back on me. It would be more of a miss take profit. But let's talk about a couple things. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to talk props today. I'm only going to talk one thing today. I've been trading here, guys, live on YouTube for almost 2 years. Almost every damn day for a long period of time. It's been absolutely awesome. I've loved to do it. I really have. It's been great. I've been able to share my journey. I think I've been able to provide some value. Trading live, showing you what real trading looks like for me. Talking about my mindset around trading. I have something new for you guys. This is not going to be for everybody. And first and foremost, yes, this is paid. This is a private room. It's a private Discord, right? Private live trading sessions, private videos, private group coaching calls, okay? They're still going to be free. I'm still going to be here free live on YouTube. Often. Not as much as I have been in the past, but often. I'm going to be on multiple other live streams like I am this week. I'm on Prop Firm Matches, Prop Firm Match TV live stream, and I'm on Beginner Trading live stream, which is a new one for me. Excited for that. And I'm still going to be here live, at least free once a week. That's my game plan on my session. This is going to be for traders that are looking for a more tightly knit, focused group, access to me, live trading, and in Discord in a way that I have not been accessible before. Focusing on A lot of the stuff that we were talking about here, not the magic strategy, not the magic data to give us some inherent edge where we're not going to go on tilt and have to manage our emotions, right? The mindset, the psychology, right? The risk management, the simplifying our trading. That's what seems to work for me. If you guys are interested, link is pinned in the chat. Be more than happy to have you in there. I got an offer running for the beginning of this for the first week. If not, absolutely no pressure, man. Be more than happy to have you here on the live streams for free, in the Discord for free, which is still going to be there, on the long form YouTube sessions, on all of my socials that I put constantly content out all damn day. More than happy to have you in here, but I think this is going to help me facilitate a way to continue to make a good return on investment for your time and for my time. Very important for me to be transparent about that. I'm at capacity here. At capacity with the free stuff. Anyway, guys, if you want to check it out, link is in the chat. I'm gonna let this one run. This has been awesome. We did not do 1,000 likes today that we need for a giveaway. No, usually we run giveaways just randomly. But we're not gonna run a giveaway. Pop in Discord, pop on X. We ran a giveaway for 2 Lucid accounts yesterday on X. Hop across socials. We'll continue to hop on here and do giveaway accounts and stuff like that. But not today. Appreciate you guys hopping on. Thank you for being here. You guys are awesome. Quick disclaimer. Remember, I'm not a financial advice, as it looks like we're going to end the session at break even here. I'm not a financial advice. I'm definitely not a financial advice. I'm definitely not a financial advisor. Where's my... I don't even have the disclaimer up. Not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is suggestion or recommendation. Do anything at all. Make sure you always do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. Remember that, guys. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop from accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer. This is I stand to make money from links and codes in my content. Like RDF. Can't be unbiased if I stand to make money, which I do. Important for me to note that, for you to do your own research and make your own decisions. Guys, have an awesome rest of the day. Hop in Discord to get the rest of the schedule. I will be live tomorrow, early morning, on... Let me pull it up real quick. I will be live early morning tomorrow on this YouTube channel right here, Prop for a Match TV. Early AM session at 6 a.m. I will be on with Luna Trades. These guys trade live here. I will be on here. Oh, look, they're running duck races on there, man. Go and get some free accounts. I'll be on here with Luna Trades.